For the most part, okay.
Yeah. Is everyone okay if I record this just for people who can't make it and might want to be in on the what we're going to talk about? Okay, cool.
Can you hear this?
Hmm?
A little, yeah.
Okay.
Not, yeah.
Is it?
It
I'm
doesn't
trying to
bother me, but
I'll mostly mute myself then, unless I need to talk.
Steve, how you doing?
Hey, it's kind of quiet around here, but at least we're at a speed where we can watch the spring come in pretty nice.
Yeah.
A lot of green.
Are you doing any virtual visits?
Yeah, I'm doing all virtual.
Yeah. Counseling.
Yeah, though a couple of clients have somehow wormed their way into meeting in our backyard, so it goes back and forth between virtual and backyard.
Okay. That's 6 feet away, right?
Right. Oh yeah.
That's a good therapeutic distance, Counselors.
When the boundaries are wide enough, then you kind of want to be connected. So that's the good thing. If you're too close, then they just want to pull away anyway.
Right.
Have a quick intros, just who everybody is and what they do. Because I don't know.
I was gonna wait till more people.
Yeah.
Because then we'll just be like
exactly
introducing ourselves, and that's not fun.
That's no
I have a client call at 4:30, so I'm gonna bow out at 4:30. But I wanted to check in with the community and.
So introduce yourself then, and then.
Yes. So my name's Brenda Gregory. I have a functional medicine nutrition practice. And then I also work at Integrative Psychiatry Austin, or with Integrative Psychiatry Austin with Dr. Javed in Cedar Park, doing nutrition and functional medicine. Yeah.
Hey. And are you guys doing virtual stuff? Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, it's been okay.
Yeah. Well, I guess if y'all want to introduce yourselves to Brenda, so before she hops off, that's cool. I have a feeling it's going to be like a rotating, people coming in and going.
Revolving door.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Brenda, I'm Kat. I'm not sure if we've met before, but I publish Natural Awakenings magazine here in town.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so just trying to figure out how I can, promote people that, are still doing business and how to do that, how to best serve the community, the wellness.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for doing that.
I'm trying. I'm pulling myself out of a funk I've been in for the last week or so, but had to do it, had to go through it, but I'm good now.
Are you familiar with can I just talk about this stuff? Is that okay? Are you familiar with NET, neuro-emotional technique?
No, not personally. I think that we've had an article about it in the magazine at one time.
So there's a technique called FAST technique, and I teach a lot of my clients do this, and actually a lot of other practitioners, especially right now. Mm-hmm. You can connect the meridians right here, and then your emotional centers and acupuncture are here. You can just come here and breathe. So it's like right wrist and left palm and 3 fingers around, and then here, and then just whatever you're feeling, just breathe really deeply, like lean into it for about 30 seconds, and then you can switch to do the other side, and 30 seconds on that side. It helps connect the conscious with the subconscious, or the mind and the body, and helps to kind of just like relax some of the emotions and change the nervous system to parasympathetic. Yeah, I use it all the time.
Is it different than like alternate nostril breathing or or is it just?
Yeah, I think because the alternate nostril breathing, I don't know much about the mechanism. I think that's just activating different parts of the brain, I think, or quieting the limbic system a little bit more. Yeah. Whereas this is actually connecting to specific meridians. So on the right side there are, this is your heart. So this is your heart and like sex organs and adrenals, the meridian. This is your stomach, spleen, and pancreas, and then your lung and large intestine. And then this side is your heart again, those ones, and then your liver, gallbladder, and then your kidneys and bladder. And so there's different emotions associated with those,
Yeah.
and it's just to kind of like dial that in.
Great.
Okay.
Hi, Lily. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing okay. How are you?
Good. Okay, I know Bonnie's supposed to join. Just hoping she'll pop on soon.
I was just texting with her. I think she's going to jump on.
Okay, cool. There's someone. There she is. Speak of the angel. There she is. All right. So I guess let's just go ahead and, do intros and or continue doing intros so that way everyone knows who's here. There are a lot of people still finishing up work stuff and dealing with their kids and, all kinds of stuff. So I'm Ashley. I know all of you in some form or capacity, and I will hand it off to you, someone else.
I'm Sarah, and I do a lot of things. I'm in the event space, partially helped organize the Rally Up Wellness event a couple weeks ago. I'm also a massage therapist and make chocolate. So
it's really good.
I actually just munched on way too many, but yeah, so I do a few different things, and I also have done a lot of wilderness trips for teens and getting people out into nature and just like connecting to themselves through nature. So that's.
And more recently, you organized the Rally Up, or helped organize Rally Up.
Yeah, so another person and I organized the Rally Up Wellness event, which was 3 weeks ago. We had panels, and I was actually working for South by, so when South by got canceled, was thinking about all of the different impacts it's had and was part of the Rally Up group. And we were specifically looking at the wellness section because the health expo for South by is kind of siloed from the tech of South by. And so we had tried to bring in a lot of those exhibitors to do, we had started planning it as an in-person event and quickly pivoted to virtual. So yeah, it ended up being, there were no exhibitors just because it was virtual, but we did panels and we talked about the future of wellness. There was a mindfulness part, and then we also talked about connection in the digital age. And that's another area that I'm have a lot of passion around, is just connection and community and relationship and health around technology.
And Sarah is a friend as well, so that's how I don't know, I see a lot of connection and similarities, and we have similar visions about what we want our business lives to look like. Sorry, I'm gonna just close the door real fast, but continue the next person.
Is that me?
Sure.
Okay. Hey guys. My name is Candace Escobedo, and I'm a family nurse practitioner. And I've started the Texas COVID Collaborative Initiative. I need a lot of technology help, Sarah. But it's, just to focus on the healthcare employees, to offer a very robust package to support them mentally, physically, and with resources.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Candace is very passionate, from what I can gather. We just met yesterday online, and very driven, and has been on the front lines in the past with Hurricane Harvey. So as a community organizer of shelter, has a lot of wisdom and knowledge. Yeah. So we're trying to bring, there's a lot of we're kind of doing this it's a collaboration, right? So we're, getting all the right players in the same room virtually. Obviously, we want to hear about your emotional health as well and make sure everyone's good. So, and if you could mute yourselves if you're not contributing, just because, you know, there's always background stuff coming up. Thank you. All right, I'll pick the next person. Steve.
Hey, Steve Milan. I am the owner of Soul Healing and Wellness Center, and I'm a psychotherapist in town, and I run a low-cost counseling center called Soul Community Counseling. My private practice is called Soul Associates, so there's a theme there somewhere. I was just I'm working with one of my staff at Soul Community Counseling on just creating a bit of a drop-in group for to focus on kind of crisis management for people that are working in this COVID world. So people that are working in the health field, or even people that are working in grocery stores, but who are just feeling that pull between taking care of those at home or taking care of themselves even, and then kind of fulfilling this responsibility in the world and making money and all that, and feeling all the disorientation and uncertainty that comes with all that. And so it would be partially a mindfulness meditation kind of focus, and then partially just kind of sharing, you know, naming, for those who want to, naming what's up. And it would be a drop-in 3 times a week, and anybody would be welcome. We're going to limit it to 12 people whenever people want to drop in. So the first 12 in are in for that hour, or as much of that hour as they want to be in. We haven't quite finalized everything yet, but I wanted to kind of put it out there because it's going to be in place within the next few days.
Cool. So by drop-in, you mean virtual drop-in,
Virtual
like,
drop-in.
like this? Like if you can make it, you just show up.
Absolutely.
And are you like gonna charge?
Free of charge. It's Soul Community Counseling. We're a nonprofit.
Candace
and
is
so
kissing your praises, and I am too in my heart.
awesome. Awesome.
So yeah, we can, that's a resource for you, Candace. That's awesome. For everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, men, women, all of the above, the whole range. Okay, because I know you run men's groups as well, so that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, cool. Anyone who's next? Kat, just you want to introduce yourself for the group?
Sure. I see a few familiar faces that have come in the last few minutes, but I'm Kat. I publish Natural Awakenings magazine, and I'm just here to be a resource for y'all in whatever way I can.
There are something you brought up to my attention earlier that you wanted to offer, like.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I can promote people who are still, who are still in business and who are working through, they might have closed their doors temporarily, but maybe they're offering, some sort of curbside pickup or something. I know my favorite herb lady here in Georgetown is doing that, and, just stuff like that, and who may have, who may be offering gift cards or discounts or something that's, would bring in revenue right away. Also, I'm looking at, if you have a story to tell about goodwill. So if you are doing something, if you're making donations or of goods or services to healthcare providers who might be working on the front line, say for instance, or whatever, a story about goodwill that I can promote as well. So just, in any way or shape or form.
Okay. Well, there is a lot of that going around.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do we wait to comment on these things or just reach out to them after?
No, you can comment. There's no rhyme or reason.
Oh, you may want to reach out to Stephanie Houston. She runs the High Rum Distillery, and she's making like hand sanitizer that she's been distributing in Georgetown, Round Rock, Austin. And I think they have a small staff, and they're working really, really hard to make this work. And I think it would make a really,
Which distillery is that?
High Rum, HYERUM.
Okay.
And she's a Facebook friend, so feel free to to find her on my account and reach out to her, because I think they did cover her on like KXAN,
Yeah, I
but
feel like I've seen that story somewhere.
yeah, but I think, you know, like just the ongoing story of, you know, what good she's able to do right now, I think
Yeah,
would
for sure.
be great.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think my focus is going to be to help this, like the small individual practitioner. I mean, that's really where my heart is. Like, I want to help, you know, those folks. But yeah, definitely. Thanks, Vivian, for the tip. That's great.
I have Leahy Industries, Lehy. I reached out to him to make masks and shields, and we're working together on that. And we've gotten in contact with the Austin Health Department, but he's a real small. I get the feeling he's a small business, more like a one-man show, and not interested in profit whatsoever. And so, and then there's another man, Anthony Budd, who created a marketplace, a virtual marketplace, because in the 3D online printing world, there's a lot of buzz and a lot of talking and independent people just creating supplies for creating PPE. So he's out of Austin, actually works for Apple. I just happened to run into him on a thread, but ultimately those are two Austinites that are working very hard to do something. And then this is pretty cool, y'all. Yesterday, because of Ashley including me on this thread, Ashley, what is his name?
Case Erickson, the food truck guy.
So he has food trucks, and the idea being, you know, a nurse, it's ultimately I got a hold of the right people, and I got confirmed callback today that it's a go.
Wow.
And the food trucks are going to go up to St. David's and feed the nurses and doctors. Nice. And I actually got in contact with the executive director of the regional hospital coalition. So that's St. David's, that's Seton, that's Baylor, Scott and White, everybody. And I brought up the idea of being able to help stimulate economy and use food service to utilize trucks to provide, you know, food, you know, restaurants providing food for the healthcare workers. So, and he said it's a great idea. It's something basically we'd have to get all hospitals on board with, and he's the guy to present that. But ultimately, using this with Eric, using this model of what we can do on a larger scale to keep us connected, you know, and you know, win-win type of situation. I have other people just through what I'm doing and what I've put together that I don't know that everybody wants to sit and, you know, we can move on with the meeting, but there are other initiatives and people that are willing to help, like Lily down below you, and including Ashley. You know, these are key people, and bringing together this whole other world that is so extremely important to the forefront for healthcare providers.
That's so cool. I love that. Facebook never ends. It never ceases to amaze me how the right thread at the right time with the right tag and shit happens. And I'm just like, I love it.
There's also,
sorry.
I was going to tell Kat, there's also something called Vendor that's been moving, and it is supporting restaurants, but it's to create a platform for products that you would see at the farmers markets and for restaurants to be able to offload food so that they don't lose it. Brothers just signed with Vendor, and it's really easy to use. And the idea is to help people get food, especially if they can't go to the grocery store or just want to support more local so that restaurants' inventories don't go to waste. So that might be worth exploring, and I could make that introduction if you're interested.
I wonder if the food trucks could use the leftover produce, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
at discount, because they're hurting, right? So So Case, I think his name is Case or KC.
Yeah.
I've never met
Yeah.
him in person.
I
think
have
it's-
his, I have his contact info. He
Cool.
sends out press releases to me all the time. So
Yeah.
He's-
I have his-
And Vendor was just on K-View the other night. They just signed with Brothers Produce on Wednesday, I think it was. But I mean, they're just like doing so much right now.
and that's vendor, like VENDOR.
Vendor, VINDR, or
Oh.
DER, VINDER, like Tinder for veggies.
Oh, okay.
So, and I actually just got off the phone with Sam. So I'm gonna, yeah, I can
Cool.
connect you if you want.
All right, Brenda, do you want to introduce yourself because you have to leave early? Reintroduce because she.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm a functional medicine nutritionist, energized wellness, and I do emotional work as well, neuro-emotional technique. Really, I would like to just put it out there that if anybody needs anybody to like do meditative type things or just understanding how emotions, I'd be happy to be a part of any of that. I haven't started anything myself, but I'm doing that with clients online. But I've, to offer my services, no charge. I'd be happy to do that if anybody's looking for something like that.
Do you want to do one for our Corona series?
Yeah, I totally could.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be in touch about that.
Okay, wonderful.
Brenda, since you have to leave early, what's the best way to connect with you?
Either through Facebook or email. I'm really consistent with email, and that's Brenda at energized, ENERGIZED wellness.net.
And Sarah, I can always connect you through Facebook as well.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yay. All right, moving right along. Who wants to, let's see, Vivian.
Hey, I'm Vivian Best, and I'm a Feldenkrais practitioner, so I teach mindful movement. I also am a Woman Speak Circle leader, so I help women with public speaking, and I host conversational game events. So those are the ones you'll see on AWC most often. I host, and right now I'm hosting on Zoom, and so just this weekend I'm hosting a co-ed game because I'm realizing that men need these opportunities to talk and to be in community as well. And so largely right now, that's what I'm working on. I haven't moved any of my Feldenkrais practice online just yet, but I've been invited to teach in a couple different embodied awareness, like circles, I guess, embodiment circles. And always looking for those opportunities to teach online. So kind of like Brenda was saying, I haven't created anything myself yet, but I'm also happy to offer people suggestions for just more comfort in their days. Like a lot of people are complaining about carpal tunnel, and just lots of ideas for helping people to not have to deal with that through their days. So yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thank you. And we played Spark the other day. It was really nice. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thanks.
She's a great facilitator. All right, Miss Lily.
Coming off of mute. Hi, everyone. I'm Lily Cabrera. I wear a few different hats, but primarily right now I'm a startup founder. I'm the founder and CEO at Well Market. An AWC member. My personal background is in fundraising in academic medical centers, healthcare delivery systems, and higher education. But in my second life as a holistic health and wellness practitioner, yoga teacher, Ayurvedic practitioner in training, but the startup that my husband and I co-founded, he's my technical CTO, is meant to create software as a service tools for holistic health and wellness providers to reach clients online. And what we're trying to do right now, since when coronavirus started as a pandemic, we are at the MVP stage, and we just got accepted into a tech accelerator that will be starting in the next 2 weeks, is fast track certain components of our technology to be ready and available to people that need these tools now. So along those lines, I've been speaking with Candace all week, and I'm just so happy for the connection and for our collaboration. Something that was baked into the model the whole time is this idea of a volunteer bank for providers to offer pro bono services to people in the community in need. And originally it was envisioned as nonprofits, low-income clients, but with what we're seeing with COVID-19 and the essential needs of the healthcare workforce, we're trying to pivot to be able to offer connectivity for service providers to provide online virtual sessions for healthcare workers when they're under so much duress and stress, directly impacting their immune system. So that's one aspect of what we're doing. The other aspect of what we're doing is uncovering certain elements of our blog to create a standing resource bank for people to access at any time. So grounding exercises, yoga sessions, meditation work, and just having a one-stop shop for people to access those resources now. So that's where we are and what we're doing. In my other hat as well, I work for AWC, which is the Refugee and Immigrant Center for Education and Legal Services here in Texas. I head up institutional giving for them. So I'm also really passionate and working hard to make sure that refugee and immigrant populations aren't left behind in what's happening right now.
Lily, you know, their office in Houston is in my office building in Houston.
I did not know that.
Yeah. They don't have very good signage because there are often people wandering around speaking other languages that I can't speak, and I'm like trying to help them. Anyway.
Yeah, that's a good point. We get a lot of donated space for our offices, and I'm not sure if it's one of those situations. The office that I work out in San Antonio is one of 3, and it's a donated space, and the signage isn't great, but most of the time the lawyers are going out to meet with clients in the communities and in detention centers.
Cool. Anyone have questions about Well Market or Lily or anything? I want to give everyone time and space, and obviously you can connect off of this call.
Yeah, find me on Facebook, please. Any feedback, suggestions, pain points that you as practitioners are experiencing. Something else that I've been brainstorming around is how to create revenue streams for practitioners whose practices have changed as a result of this crisis. So massage therapists, can they offer online spouse training for people to give massage in their own home, and what else can be done along those lines? I'm really wanting to help.
I hear chimes.
Sorry, those are my chimes.
Okay. Just checking. All right. Sandra, you want to introduce yourself?
Can you hear me now?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, my name is Sandra Foreman, and in my past life, which I'm slowly transitioning out of, I'm a health and disability lawyer of 24 years. And in my role as health and wellness practitioner, it's more toward prevention and promotion and health promotion now. I started the Spa and Me, a company, my company, about 3 years ago. I've had 2 annual women's retreats, but now I'm moving more toward offering and growing. I have 2 book clubs. One is the Silent Book Club, which we're a chapter of an international organization of silent book clubs all over the world. And that's where, for my chapter specifically, because it can be offered co-ed, but my chapter is focused on women. And so we meet once a month and we socialize the first 30 minutes and last 30 minutes of the 2-hour meeting, and we read silently for an hour. And women come from Round Rock. We meet in Cedar Park, but women drive from Round Rock, Georgetown. It's amazing that they, realize the importance of having this time for themselves and have a love for reading. And I'm in the midst of starting a second book club. This one is it's called the Self-Love Book Club, which launches next week. And it was going to be a hybrid club where we would meet online and in person. So the in-person part is on hold until all of the social distancing requirements are lifted. But it's focused on reading a self-help, self-compassion type book, and also reading and cooking from a cookbook. So, and connecting with the authors as they are available. So, so that's what I'm doing with the Spawn Me Now, growing, the book clubs. And I'm also freelance writing on the topics of self-care rituals, wellness tourism, philanthropy, and also about family caregivers of teens and young adults with chronic illnesses. It's my background as a health and disability lawyer has, and just personally too, with my own children, I just have attachment to those particular issues. And so I'm writing about that. And I'm also a writing contributor for Thrive Global. So those are the things I'm doing now. And Austin Wellness Collaborative is going to be a good resource for me to, as I pitch editors more and more, being able to go to the experts in our group for the topics that that editors are interested in learning more about.
Yeah, because you keep expanding and adding, and I'm always impressed.
I'm adding and I'm taking away. But yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe you could help out with some Natural Awakenings articles.
Well, actually, yeah, National Corporation is actually wanting to do more wellness travel articles, so I can hook you in with the national people, and it would be, that would be really great exposure. We 2.5 million people around the country read the magazine, so.
Well, not a whole lot of travel going on right now, unfortunately.
No, this is true, but yeah, that's definitely a regular column that we have been talking about adding. So yeah, and it pays. They would pay.
Okay, that's important.
Awesome. Any questions for Sandra or thoughts, comments? Okay. Cool. Moving on to Bonnie. You're muted. I'll unmute you. There you go.
Okay. Am I here?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess the best way to describe myself, I am very passionate about health and wellness, creating community, being a resource, and connecting people. To borrow from Lily and Sandra's term, in my first life, I was an event producer, doing large-scale lifestyle and corporate events, and have been in somewhat of a transition these last few years. And currently was just working at Stretch Lab, which, if you're not familiar with it, they do one-on-one assisted stretching. It's a job I took just to bring in income while I was looking for my next thing, but also purposely wanted to do something around health and wellness. And the studio just closed, hopefully just temporarily. But so I realized just there was so much going on to help people in the restaurant and hospitality industries, and I haven't seen a lot locally for the health and wellness industry, and realized between having the time and the skill set that I'd love to see, how I can help support the health and wellness industry.
So why don't you tell them about what you've researched?
A little bit about.
Bonnie reached out to me to help, to start coordinating or helping or see what contacts I had. I don't really remember the conversation, but anyway, she has ideas that she wants to present, and
yeah. So one idea was initially it was just seeing some different things come through with what was being done for the restaurant industry, and so it was kind of borrowing on what I was seeing and thinking, of creating, let's say, a GoFundMe where people would donate, and then we'd have people in the industry apply that were economically impacted, and then having gift cards donated, and the gift cards would be to local groceries, local supermarkets, groceries, possibly restaurants. And so I was really just the seed of an idea a couple of days ago where at the same time, I knew that there was possibly a lot of like obstacles to be overcome by it, but wanted to see if it was feasible, if it made sense, if that's really the biggest pain point for people. So Ashley was one of the first people I reached out to, and I've had a few other calls over the last few days of just trying to reach out to people and see who might have some good contacts to help see if it makes sense to move this along. But so yeah, it's just at the very, very beginning stages of an idea, and I'm, on the one hand, I'd love to do it if it makes sense, but I'm also not super attached to it if there's some other way that, you know, I can help out with something someone else is doing.
So can you, there's a lot to your idea, and there's a lot of, and you've talked to some pretty big people like Frost Bank, I think.
Yeah, well, I've networked just in the past with Patrick Mercer, who just he works for Frost Insurance. So I met him through it's Austin Workplace and Wellness, Austin Workplace Culture and Wellness Happy Hour. So he was someone that I just knew in the industry. But yeah, so I mean, originally, I mean, some of the things that I was thinking about, or you know, that I discussed with Ashley, Sarah, and Lily, of I guess you know, things that would really need to be figured out is, one, who their target audience is, the target population is, because that would be helping. Because on the one hand, I'd love to help, you know, fitness instructors, yoga teachers, as well, you know, anyone who's worked at a studio, gym, et cetera, whose employment's been terminated. But at the same time, individual practitioners, people with small businesses that aren't able to practice right now, that typically meet face to face, and there would be different criteria that would be needed to both verify those people, and also, you know, one of the things Lily and I were talking about is, on the one hand, if you have the people who are laid off of studios, they might be collecting unemployment, or then you have other, you know, the other side of people who are, you know, or who are going for a small business loan. So it's a wide range of people, and figuring out if it makes sense to be targeting a wide range or narrowing it. But so that's one of the aspects of it, is, you know, really defining who would make sense to target, what their biggest pain point is. Also, if this were to be done, it sounds like it makes the little bit that I've learned, probably GoFundMe over a 501c3. Trying to think what else. But yeah, so I don't know. I think for me right now, a stopping point is just that it is such different populations that I want to serve through it, and trying to figure out if that really makes sense.
All right, anyone have thoughts or ideas? Candace?
Hey, Bonnie. Bonnie, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
So just what I hear when you're talking, I hear that you understand how to utilize a process of that nonprofit, you know, and the GoFunding, and you know, like, and you're essentially saying, man, I know how to do this. I just don't know exactly which, you know, arena to hit it with. I think that there are, you know, when we think of like I guess I'll probably kind of advocate for myself a little bit over here in what I'm doing. And I kind of see this big picture of bringing everybody together, you know, including food, using the process that you're talking about and connecting different restaurants to, you know, providing food for healthcare workers, right? Then you're using this in essence you know, with the mental health and wellness for all of these independent practitioners that aren't able to operate and practice right now. You know, maybe using my front of Texas COVID Collaborative along with Lily, you know, and Well Market to be able to create essentially a GoFundMe that can help disperse these funds to these independent, practitioners, and kind of utilize the, there's various, if you and I had a separate conversation, I could, which we may need to do, your ability and your process that you have this figured out is very advantageous. I almost wonder if just creating like, hey, I know how to do this. This is this platform. And then everyone who wants to help can take that platform and initiate it, with themselves within their own programs. And then essentially, from just like a medical standpoint, it's, I'm not doom and gloom by any means, but if we have a limited number of healthcare, people to be able to staff the hospitals and try to contain this. And so if you'd like to work with me, I'd love to sit and hammer out like how we can use, for example, Keep Austin Fed. I'm in contact with her because of that thread that Ashley put me on. But if you can, I think we can combine. I think we can collaborate, and then
yeah, but that's
yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to have a separate conversation with you about that. Yeah, like I said, I'm definitely someone who's very systems thinking and can think about all the steps, but I don't have all the answers, and so yeah, whether it's this or helping out in other ways, like I'd love to chat.
Bonnie, I know we spoke earlier and I mentioned the Red River Cultural District's platform of how they've been doing it. And Stephen and I weren't able to connect before this, but he actually just we keep like missing each other. So I think we're going to talk after this call, and I have some questions just to ask him based on our conversation. And I think that it is important that it's coming from something that's supporting such broad services in the sense of wellness. So like, I don't know if that means using or partnering with AWC's name in some way, or I don't know what that looks like, but for them, like their niche was the Red River District and that's who they're serving. So I think just that needs to be flushed out more. And if anybody has any specific questions or thoughts around this, I would be happy to take that because I'm talking to the person who helped with that initiative for the Red River District.
So when I had,
sorry, I just want to say you are welcome to use AWC as whatever, a container for whatever, I feel like we could find the volunteers, we could find the, that utilize this, whatever, the website, the structure, whatever we have. You're absolutely just like, I'm giving you the rights to that, just so you know.
Awesome.
Okay.
Bonnie, you were going to say something, sorry.
I was going to add that when I was sharing the idea with Sarah earlier today, she had let me know that Red River was pretty much doing almost the exact same thing. So that's how the Red River came up. They're specifically doing the gift cards to groceries, not restaurants, but otherwise it's very similar, except also they might have, even though they're doing it for people in a couple of different industries, from like music to hospitality, they might not have as many challenges of the differences in the criteria of trying to figure out who's eligible. But that's where that came in.
Sandra, I was curious. I don't know if you know much about employment law. I can't ask you because you're going to say, I know what you're going to say. You can't ask legal questions. I can't hear you.
Sorry. My involvement with AWC, I just really want to keep that non-legal. Just I'm still working my full-time legal job, so I can only do so much.
Gotcha.
Ashley, why don't you ask me?
Well, it has to do
so
with
that she can
employment.
hear it, but you're not asking her and she's not telling you.
No, but it has to do with employment law, like, and SBA and, you know, like stuff that is outside the realm of, definitely out of medical. So I don't know, that's why. But we can talk about it. I'm just curious, like how you know if someone files for unemployment, like, or they get a small business loan, is it legal to give them funding? Like, you know, silly things like that. But that's out of our scope for the call. We would need to consult a lawyer for that. There are a couple new people on the call, so I don't want to. No, I see you. I see you. Anisha came on. Now she is in Houston, the Houston area, so don't throw tomatoes at her. And thank you, Bonnie, by the way. Anisha, introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for doing this, Ashley. You're always doing such good things. I have to say that I'm grateful that I guess met you on Facebook for the longest time. And I know I'm supposed to talk about myself, but I'm really grateful to have you in my life in general, you know, even though it's Facebook Live and we've met in person like once. So that being said, thank you, thank you, thank you. But so everybody, I'm in Houston. I'm a personal wellness chef and an essential oil coach. Both those titles are made up because they don't actually exist in the industry, but really what it boils down to is I help support families and individuals who believe in the power of food and plants and herbs and spices and cooking and essential oils. And I basically am there to partner with them in whatever way I can. And usually it's in-home cooking classes, in-home chef services, which means I do their grocery shopping, I plan all their menus, and I give them the suggestions and they choose the food and then I go cook it for them. And my very sweet clients who are also MDs, both husband and wife, you know, sent me a note saying that I'm essential to them, so I better not stop cooking for them. So I'm kind of, you know, debating that whole thing about, is it safe for me to cook for them and can I be safe and effective to help them? Because yes, they have their job to do and they need me to cook for them and, you know, help their family out, but also have to follow the regulations for Houston and, you know, what all that means. From what I see, you know, food businesses are okay. I function on my own. I shop on my own. I'm alone in their house. So I'm keeping the safe distance and I'm doing food stuff. So hopefully that's okay. The other aspect of my business is a lot of the essential oil education that I do is already online for me. So hopefully I can keep doing that. But, you know, if you guys ever want to collaborate or partner anything with respect to, you know, recipes or, you know, incorporating healthy cooking tips for families, because most of my classes are basically, most of my calls are basically, okay, you know, I need my child to eat this, you know, so I'm just kind of like their brainstorm person. Okay, here, try this, try this, try this. So I'm not a nutritionist, but you know, I'm not trying to top my horn, but I do just come up with random recipes all the time. And I've written for magazines, for Edible Houston, and as well as some online health magazines. I did recipes for a local farm for like almost a year and a half. Every week they would deliver me veggies and then I would create recipes for them. So I do try to help families kind of go back to the basics and say, okay, you know, we can do a lot of simple stuff in our kitchens. And now that everybody's home, you know, I have to sort of think through how I can help families do that. Is, okay, can you cook together as a family? You know, can you do chores together as a family that involve supporting your wellness with food and, you know, trying to create an environment where cooking is not a chore, but really a health supporting fun activity, you know? So food, we smell it, we see it, you know, we breathe it in, we do all of that before we eat it. So I think reminding families to be mindful, you know, when we're eating our meals, and being mindful of, you know, just trying to use nutrition to support our bodies, because we have amazing immune systems, and sometimes we can help it by just giving it what it needs. And cooking is a really good way to do that. So all that on the cooking front, you know, and I guess about the writing, I wanted to ask Sandra and whoever else writes, you know, how easy is it for you guys to find writing gigs that actually pay? Because I've done a lot of free writing, and I'm always sharing my recipes for free for everybody. Like whoever wants me to write a recipe, I'm there. And so I would say I've gotten paid like maybe 3 or 4 times, but that's pretty much it. My farm did pay me in vegetables, so I was grateful for that. But as far as the essential education I keep planning to do that because of the feedback I receive from families that I help. And, you know, I try to always remind them that I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just here to tell you that this stuff exists. Here's the research. You know, it's not a clinical trial necessarily, and we understand that. And please understand, this is an animal study. This is an in vitro study. You know the difference, but know the benefits that you can get. And it's not just about like we're trying to cure something. It's just about, I'm doing yoga, what will help me calm down and relax, what will support me emotionally when I'm stressed, what's going to support my child to sleep better. You know, it's about supporting the body systems and knowing what essential oils and plants can do for us, and supporting. It's all about supporting the body system. So I always give this example. If you are riding a bicycle, would you want to drive a Corolla? What if you could drive a Ferrari? You know, so it's basically, you know, I'm not saying something is wrong. I'm just saying you can have better sleep. You can maybe boost your immune system. You can maybe, you know, support your emotional levels or stress levels just by, you know, just when you peel an orange, it just calms you down because that smell is just so amazing, right? And that part of it is just, I think you can experience that. Just open a bottle of any essential oil, and you know that you feel attracted to, and you're going to experience that benefit.
Have you experienced a dip in your business, your chef business, or?
Well, so right now my clients want me to cook for them. The question is, you know, like I just got my groceries today, and it took me like an hour with my husband helping me to sanitize everything. So I'm going to have to allocate 1 hour at least, if not more, if I was to go do that for my clients. So I think my clients trust me, and we have very open communication. And so I think they're good with me cooking for them. Now, if I had truly elderly clients that I was cooking for, I would be concerned about going into their home if they were at home. But because my clients are not at home, I'm going to the store alone. I'm not like violating any rules really, and I'm in the food business, so technically I'm fine. It's just a matter of, you know, is it a good practice to keep doing? Because I don't know if this situation is getting better anytime soon. So I think we're just going to review it on a week-by-week basis. And I think that's the right thing to do, because safety is really, really important. You know, that comes first. So I would not want to jeopardize anything. You know, I want to stay legal, and, you know, we're having a call with Chef Association tonight, the United States Personal Chef Association. I'm a member, and I've been a member since I started my business. So I have liability insurance from them. They have liability coverage, and they are working with their legal counsel to make sure that everything we're doing is good, is legal. We're being safe for our clients, and they're actually going to offer us these letters that we can have on our person when we're driving around and going to the grocery store and going to our clients' home, saying that, hey, I provide food services to this family, to the doctor.
I wonder and I worry about the personal chefs, you know, because that's more of a luxury item for a lot of people, especially who are being laid off, or, you know, all that. But
yeah, I will read the orders in. Are you in Houston?
I'm in Houston, Harris
I
County.
will read that closely, because if you're part of an association you mentioned, and if that's a national association, are they looking at every city's order? And you would need to read that closely to make sure that it includes personal chefs.
Well, the thing is that nobody ever actually acknowledges that personal chefs is even a thing. You know, so when I went to my bank to create my business account, there's no such thing as personal chef. They're like, what is that? You call the food department, they're like, personal chef, what is that? Like, nobody even knows what a personal chef is. So I would not expect to be ever listed as you know, yes or no on that kind of category anyway. So, you know, we're providing a food service. So it's kind of, that's why it's kind of like, we're one of those categories that's never listed on anything. So I really don't see Harris County saying, oh yeah, personal chefs is not allowed or personal chefs is allowed. And actually you're right. Like a lot of people see that as like a luxury item, but a lot of people see it as a necessity. So, you know, it's kind of like, we were having this discussion on Tuesday in the meeting, and basically, you know, everybody was like, all our clients think that we're necessities and not luxuries. So what does that tell us? You know, I mean,
yeah, no, I'm very much for it. I'm just thinking like, you know, how their businesses are being impacted, because like the chef that was going to be catering for the AWC meetup last 2 weeks ago, or the 12th, she says she has been impacted tremendously.
Right.
That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, I think food businesses will be impacted, and I think catering is always, to me, in a different category than private chefs, because private chefs work with families. We're always one-on-one. I don't ever cater. Like, I have never catered anything because I do not do any business from my house. That's like not allowed. And that's what the Chef Association made clear. Like, our president is like a part of the restaurant association, and he's like, nobody is ever going to cook from their house and deliver food. Please do not do that. And we've been taught that from like day one. Our liability insurance doesn't cover us unless we are cooking in the client's home or a commercial kitchen, period. I mean, so as long as we're being legal safety wise, you know, the only other thing is, what is your city's ordinance saying? You know, are food service providers allowed or not allowed? You know, so again, the personal chef category is not going to be listed. You know, and I'm like, okay, I could call the 713 number and try to find somebody on the phone and ask them that, and they'll be like, oh, what is a personal chef? You know, and I've done that before because I was trying to find, you know, when I started my business, what does that mean, and like, do I have to file for anything? And they were like, we don't know what that means. So, you know, so then I explained to them, and they're like, okay, yeah, I mean, you're fine. Like, they don't even care, like, at that point. So yeah, I mean, the only thing I could probably do is call somebody and be like, okay, what category does personal chefs fall in? And then, yeah, you're right, actually, some people might see that as a luxury. But what if the families, so the Personal Chef Association said, like, families who are unable to leave the house because of health reasons, or elderly people, or like medical professionals who are out working the whole day, do need food at home. So,
Anisha,
for those specific conditions.
Anisha.
Yes.
I have so many thoughts because this is just kind of how my brain works with connecting and strategy. But number one, you said a commissioned kitchen, right? Is it possible, for example, I have friends that are bar owners in Houston, right?
Yeah.
Their kitchen isn't being used.
Right.
Could you go and, Kat, did you want to say, did you?
Yeah, that's a possibility.
You could partner with them. And then the other thought was partnering, you know, just as a side source in terms of money, is maybe labeling yourself as another revenue for people that are in your position, is labeling yourself as health education.
Right.
You know? And then maybe creating like partnering with a demo, a company that does educational videos, that films those. And then also in turn, for example, what's going to happen right now in terms of medical and what you brought up about the home health, you know, and these patients in the home and then being quarantined. There's legislation that's going to be signed tomorrow that allows family nurse practitioners to sign off orders to approve for home health. One of my biggest things in the whole idea of catering to healthcare providers is that ability to, you know, you qualify for homebound services because you are under quarantine, you know, and you're, and there's, I'll be learning more about that as this happens. But the idea is that essentially partnering with what's happening right now, all of us, in terms of what are the essential businesses, how are they allowed to operate, how can we come together like we're doing right now on this platform and combine services to where even if you're cooking, you know, Anisha, if you're cooking from a kitchen and you're able to deliver those with DoorDash, and then, you know, Bonnie hooks up a 501, you know, C or a GoFundMe, and then those are being delivered to, you know, healthcare providers' homes in which they're being quarantined.
Yeah.
It's just kind of thinking how we can, because in the grand scheme right here and right now, we have a very acute situation.
Yeah.
But this is also very good in terms of you're reaching a market that you would have probably never reached before. You know, not just you, but many other people in your situation, to where they've had to experience your service out of necessity. And so I would like, I think if you know, and then also just in general, people, just mothers, you know, and people at home not able to work would love to watch a video. Like I would love to learn how to cook. I cannot even tell you. I wish I could cook. I wish and I could if I had someone sitting there and telling me what to do, offering a telehealth version of cooking. I'll get at it. I'll get what I need, and I'll come up there. And then as long as I'm face to face with you, then I can be like, okay, stop now. Oh, I'm burning the onions. Oh, okay. You know, like, so yeah, it's kind of, it's that, I just wanted to say that because I do see
all that is great input. And, you know, I've never explored commercial kitchens because I have to rent a commercial kitchen, then I have to rent equipment, and that just adds on cost. And then I have to pass that on to my clients. So the cleanest model for me has been clients who will just let me come to their house and cook for them. And that's fine. And so if I can go to 5 people's homes, and I don't go to 5 people's homes every week, honestly, like I have a wait list that's 10 families long right now, and there's not enough of me to go around already. So, you know, unless all those people like say, oh, we don't want you to come to our house anymore, that's a whole different story. But I don't see that happening in the past week. Like they want me to come and cook for them. So and the thing is that we are very honest and open with each other. So the commercial kitchen is great. I know a lot of personal chefs who have commercial kitchens, but what they do is their model is a little bit different than mine. They basically say, here's the menu for the week. Here's what we're cooking, and here's what you're going to get. Okay, or they'll take some input and they'll try to cover. But when you're cooking for 20 families out of a commercial kitchen, you're not going to have a personalized system. The people who come to me are like very specific. Oh, we can't have this, that, the other. We can't have this, that, the other. So every family that I'm cooking for, their meals are custom to their family, you know, and they cannot get that from outside. So I had a lady like going through a candida cleanse.
Anisha, I'm going to ask that we let the other 2 people.
Yes, of course.
Haven't introduced themselves. So these are great, you know, it's all good discussion and really.
I just wanted to say one last thing, Ashley, because I'm probably going to hop off and I have to get on my chef call soon. But I would be happy to do a Facebook Live video. I mean, I may not do like a full-on cooking class or anything, but I'm happy to do like a quick, you know, 20-minute Facebook Live for AWC, Houston Wellness, whatever, just to share, you know, just things that I do that make my life easier as far as making meals at home that are healthy and quick. The quick part is really important because nobody wants to be in the kitchen for like hours. Right. So 30-minute things you can do that will have a meal ready for your family, especially these days, you know. So I would be happy to do that as a complimentary thing. So thank you for having me. I'm going to stay on for a little bit and then I'm going to hop off. It was great to see everybody.
You too. Hi, Audrey and Christy. I see you. Want to introduce yourself or say hi or say anything?
Sure. I'll say hi. Hi, everyone. Sorry, I'm late. So my name is Audrey, and I guess I am a multi-passionate integrative mental health practitioner. Right now, I am a licensed acupuncturist and herbalist. I just started working up at Integrative Psychiatry Austin up in Cedar Park with Dr. Javed, who's also part of Austin Wellness Collaborative, and also Brenda Gregory, who's also part of Austin Wellness Collaborative. And there might be some more from our group in here, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that, so I won't go there. But basically, I have a lot of tools for transformation. I also started the Mystical Arts School at Ace of Cups. So I'm a tarot reader and teacher. I'm a human design expert and consultant. I eat macro systems of thought for breakfast. So all of astrology, all of any system of thought that really prioritizes constitutional medicine is something that I tend to grasp very well. I'm Filipino, so I'm naturally a healer and I'm very intuitive. So when you combine that with rigorous academics, you basically get me. So I'm really passionate about finding solutions to problems that are really hard to solve. And sometimes I can just get to the root of things when a lot of people can't see that. So that's kind of what I do. I know that's a lot of things. Right now, because I'm unable to do hands-on healing and because access to herbal medicine has become somewhat slowed or compromised, I'm actually offering a lot of kind of more mystical arts consultations right now. And I'm kind of leaning into the human design thing right now, because I think right now with this big change in energy and how people are using their energy, basically having to rest more, which I think is very important for a lot of people. Learning how to maximize one's own energy and actually use their aura when they walk into a room in the way that it was intended to be used in a way that decreases resistance in their life actually is a way to solve major health problems. So if any of you know about human design, I am a manifester. So when I enter the room, I'm here to initiate and catalyze and a little bit to push people away. My authority is splenic, so I get hits in the moment. And if I don't get any hits to do anything, I completely rest until I get the hit. And so I've lived my life this way. I rest all the time. Even if, there's a million things on my to-do list, like I've learned to just get the hit or I rest. So with those two pieces of information of what I'm here to do in the room and with the way my intuition works, I can decrease resistance where I go. So right now I've been pretty passionate about passing along that kind of information to others, because I think a lot of people are just struggling to understand how to use their energy right now. But I do, I have a ton of tools. I think one of the hardest things for me as a practitioner is just being clear with society about what it is I do, because I really do so much, and because I really I'm present with whatever's in the room when I treat, which means I can use like one of like 1,000 tools. And so, so getting really clear and concise about how to actually explain to people what I offer can be difficult for me. But all in all, I am actually writing all of this pretty well. I'm really passionate about what I do. And I really love working up in Cedar Park with all of the really cool mental health minds that are up there. So, and we're all really passionate about, I guess I'm just speaking for everyone now, we're all really passionate about treating people from a holistic perspective. Dr. Javid is awesome. He's a holistic psychiatrist. And so we have both the medical angle and we also have the nutritional angle. We have LPCs, we have a therapy angle, and then we have me. I'm just like, I can just pop people off a little bit. So that's what I do. And I'm glad to meet all of you or see you again if I've already met you. So.
How are you doing? You've mentioned that you're, as an extrovert, you're struggling a bit with this isolation.
Yeah, I am an extrovert. Yeah, I think I'm finding my flow though. I am used to, I kind of have shied away from having an online presence, because what my life usually looks like is just kind of like walking around. I meet a lot of people all the time, and I'll kind of have these little moments of catalyzing kind of in real time, like at the grocery store, like around, and that's how I'll get a lot of my clients, really, is just like having those kind of chance encounters, and then that kind of word of mouth, and that those kind of resonances with people. So to cut myself off, and of course my extended social network, I am like definitely a little bit of a social butterfly. So I just launched my business Instagram for the first time. So I'm realizing that can be like a new way for me to put myself out there. It is like very vulnerable. You think as an extrovert, one thinks that maybe extroverts are all just 100% being comfortable being vulnerable online, but online and in person are definitely different formats. And so, yeah, I'm playing with that, playing with just like being vulnerable in new ways online. And it's been great. I mean, I've only had this business Instagram for like 3 days to compensate for the changes, but I actually kind of love it. And I'm finding that I am connecting with people, and it does feel real. It doesn't feel like superficial or anything. Yeah, anything that I thought it would be. So yeah, thank you for asking.
Yeah. Awesome. I may hit you up for that human design stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm fascinated by all of it. Christy, where did you go? There you are. Christy.
Audrey, thank you for talking about human design. I am a emotional generator, 5'2". I really like using my hands. Right now, I'm assembling a bed. I just bought a house in January. So, yeah, right now, like, work is really slow. Part of me is very worried, and the other part of me is really enjoying this downtime, because this is the first time that I've truly like had permission to rest.
Yep.
I'm a physical therapist. I started my business, CC Dry Needling, which I use acupuncture needles to work with people's chronic pain, trigger points. I'm really good with my hands, but my true passion is talking about how they're going to truly heal their chronic pain using exercise, using inflammatory diet, and then like revisiting emotions, possibly getting back on a good sleeping regimen and things like that. Yeah, everything has kind of died down. My part-time job at Endeavor, which is a clinic that accepts insurance, let me go for about 2 weeks. They might rehire me in 2 weeks. So we'll see how that goes. I'm on a scale from 0 to 10. My worry rate is like 6, but not too bad.
Is 10 the most or the least?
10 is like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. What the hell is going to happen?
Okay. So 6 is still high. That cortisol is high.
Well, because it's change. It's like huge change. And every day there's like there has been another change. And so that's, I think.
The virtual visits or thought about, is that an exploration?
I'm exploring it now. Our clinic may do it, but I heard the reimbursement rate is way low. So not yet. Do you know any other, are there any physical therapists on here?
No, but Mary Karamata is doing it.
Okay. Yeah, I may talk to her.
And someone else. We have a guy here in Houston who's doing it, and he's insurance. I can connect y'all if you want to talk. It's really great.
Yeah.
So.
When I started my business, it was like all cash, and like I didn't really have a good web platform, like a documentation software. So I think I'm going to take this time to like reset, sign up for a program, do everything like correctly, stuff like that. But I'm going to do some research.
Good. You're also doing self-care and taking care of yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks for having this.
Will anyone else have anything they want to share, or any feelings, any emotions? Everyone doing okay?
I will say, like, I didn't touch on any of this in the beginning, but I am like supercharged right now. Like my energy, and it's like my days are longer, and I don't know what it is about this like call to action, maybe in my DNA, nurse type of deal, but it's a very like I am drinking a glass of wine right now, you know, to help decompress, because it's a very exciting time because of the collaboration that's happening and the energy, and me just sitting here talking to all of you who I've never met before. Like this in itself is phenomenal. Like this adds quality to life. And I'm a big believer that in every single thing that happens that's bad, there is on that other end of that spectrum good to counter it. And so it's in essence, you know, I'm listening to all of you talk, and I think, my goodness, we should start a virtual practice together. You know, like we've got so many different components and aspects here, but you know, and the idea is, you know, before this, I didn't touch on this in the beginning, is that I'm passionate about focusing on preventing chronic disease, but creating, like, I actually submitted an LLC for Pillar Precision Health, because not one person can take care of a person completely. It takes a village. And so as I sit here and I look at all of us here, where we obviously have the same heart and the same mind, you know, similar, and that passion is that there's so many different attributes that anybody would want right now, you know, and if it's a way of maybe considering a collaboration or collaborative effort in terms of future conversations of how to, I don't know, come as a unified front, because we as providers are, we're feeling it too. You know, we're all just utilizing our energy a little bit differently. And so, you know, I just feel like this is a good front and a good, I don't know, it's just my strategy and my brain going, you know, all over the place. But I feel like everybody here, while I'm busy and that energy, it keeps me up at night, it's a good energy, you know, and I am so thankful for the networking that's occurred, and for every single one of y'all's presence in my life, and the energy that we're giving to each other right now is phenomenal. So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, I agree. That's kind of why I wanted to bring people together in this way, because we can all have one-on-one conversations, and that is great and exciting. But we, you know, if we can pool our resources and really, and our gifts, then we're stronger, and we can create something out of this. So out of, you know, I said it right off the bat, out of the chaos and the I can't remember exactly what I said, but out of it comes opportunity, and we just have to be creative. So I'm here. My goal is to support entrepreneurs in the health and wellness space. You know, obviously I want to help. I'm a helper. That's, if you know Enneagram, I'm a 2, wing 3, or I was when I took that test. I don't know if I'm that person anymore. I don't know, but I really want the best for people. So I don't know what that looks like. I don't know exactly what the next step is even, but I think bringing, you know, just having more meetings like this where we can share what we're thinking and doing and, you know, offering would be great. So for now, I'm going to send people to Steve's drop-in counseling that he's going to send me information on very soon. And I, you know, obviously I refer out to whoever needs, you know, any healthcare practitioners I'll be sending to Candace and myself. And yeah, anyone else want to make some comments or anything?
Is anyone else on Instagram? Can we post our handles on the side so we can follow each other?
Sure.
Platform? Is anyone else?
Yeah, I'm there. You know, it's not my favorite way to interact because you can't really have conversations there. You know, like I feel like Facebook is just you can have more depth and discussion and go, I don't know, that's just me. And I'm not so into the pictures and all that, you know, whatever, but a lot of people are. What's yours? Anyone else with any closing thoughts? No.
Thank you for bringing us together.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure. It's what I do. It's, yeah, somehow, I don't know. I'm like Candace. My brain is always like, well, who can I connect this person with? And how can I make this, you know, that's just how it comes. All right, so taking some deep breaths. Yeah, and just, yeah, Candace, keep us posted, I guess. And all of you, keep us posted on everything. All right.
Thanks,
Anything
Ashley.
else? You're welcome.
Thank
Everyone have a
you.
good weekend, even though it's going to be the same as it was yesterday, today. All right. Have a good night. Stay well, please.
You too. Bye.
All right. Bye.